What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Sarantis podcast. Joining me today to discuss how to have a growth mindset, fitness and nutrition, modeling, and his infamous TikTok videos with his students is social work major at University of South Florida, kindergarten counselor, model, influencer, and TikTok star Valentino Hart Jr. How are you doing today, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for being here. So, before transferring to USF, you played basketball at St. Leo University. After facing injuries, you said that you were actually glad to stop playing the sport and move on to your true passions. And I think that's really powerful. It's a great example of having a growth mindset. What gave you the confidence to pursue a different path, and how did you develop your growth mindset?
Well, what gave me the confidence to pursue a different path is just really believing in myself. I knew that I was good at basketball because of the fact that I worked hard, but it wasn't necessarily my gift. You know, some people could wake up in the morning, not stretch, and just go drop 50 points. I had to put in a lot of work to get to where I was in the sport of basketball, but I knew what my real gifts were inside, which was interacting with people, particularly kids, modeling, stuff like what I'm doing now. And I got that sign from God in my head, just like from the Holy Spirit. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and pursue it. I don't care what nobody says. I'm gonna just do me. So that kind of just gave me the confidence to do that.
I like that. I think it's important. Like when you do go to college and people are growing up, it's okay to pivot. It's okay to choose a different path. Like I can
Absolutely.
definitely relate to that. Like growing up, people always told me like, "Oh, you'd be a really good doctor one day or a lawyer." And I thought, "Oh, well, everyone's telling me I should do that, so maybe I should do that." And then getting to college, I was like, "Wait, I'm taking these classes, not really doing so well in like bio or chem." So I'm like, "Okay, maybe I need to pivot to a different career path." But I'm scared because I'm gonna let my family down, or I think I'm gonna let my family down. And then it's like sitting down and talking to them. It's like, oh, they were actually supportive of me transitioning to, TV production and wanting to become a director, producer one day. So it's okay to make those tough decisions and it's okay to make changes. That's what life's all about. So I think that's really awesome. Were your parents supportive, like along the journey?
Yes, absolutely. I remember when I told my dad and my mom, I not only did I tell them, but I told them my plan that I had as well. And they were on board from day one because my parents believe in me just as much as I believe in myself. That's why I've always said it's kind of extremely important to have like a good support system around you because you are who you listen to. And if I'm listening to a bunch of people who like don't see my vision or don't believe in my vision, you're not going to go nowhere. So I'm just really thankful for my parents that they were on board from day one.
I like that. Yeah. Whether it's your parents or guardian, friends, a significant other, I think that's really important to have a support system, like you said. You seem very confident in yourself. Do you have any tips for people struggling with their self confidence and self esteem?
I would say you just have to fully believe in who you are and who God made you to be. And another thing I would say is don't respond to your critics because that only gives them credibility. If you spend your energy trying to let what other people say about you influence what you do instead of using that energy to empower yourself to be where you want to be, then you're just going to be stuck in a rut. And it's just, I would just say, don't listen to any haters. Don't listen to what anyone says. Sometimes, like when I do things, like if I post a TikTok or if I post a picture, I don't even think about what other people say. I don't even read comments, to be honest with you.
Okay. Okay.
Even read comments. I just do me because I see my vision and that's all I need to see, So
I
that's
like that. I like that because sometimes speaking for myself, sometimes you like give too much energy to what somebody's saying that isn't constructive. That's just like coming out of like where they're coming from. And I think sometimes I'll put merit into like the haters, like, oh, maybe I should do it this way or do something that way. But it's like, you know what? No, this is my life. I'm gonna make my own decisions. I'm gonna take the constructive criticism because I don't want to have a big ego and get an airhead. But it's like you have to decipher like what can I take from this criticism? What's warranted and what's unnecessary. I like that. And you mentioned faith plays a big role in your life.
I would say that faith plays the absolute biggest role in my life every day, just my relationship with God growing every single day. I feel like I wouldn't even have the confidence that I had if I didn't have God in my life or two parents that also believed in God strongly like I do to be able to do these big things because people always ask me, they're like, so what do you see yourself in the future? Or like, what do you want? What are your goals? And obviously I have goals that I have in my mind, but my biggest goal is to do what God placed me on this earth to do. And it's not really much of a when something happens, or like not really much of a if something is going to happen. It's when it happens. Because I'm just following God's blueprint and just taking things as they come.
Back in June, in an interview on the DJ Henderson podcast, you spoke about your interest in motivational and public speaking. Do you see yourself doing that after graduation? And do you have a favorite motivational speaker?
I do see myself doing that after graduation. I feel like I have a lot of stories, or not necessarily stories, just things that I've been through or things that I've seen, because you don't necessarily have to grow up in bad environments to be able to tell someone something that'll better their life. And I've noticed that from a
Right.
young age. So I definitely see myself doing it after college. And my favorite motivational speaker is honestly my pastor, who before he was a pastor became was a motivational speaker and then became a pastor. So I just kind of listen
Wow.
to what he does and how he carries himself, and I take a piece of what he does and implement it into my life. So shout out to Pastor Jumbo. You
That's
watched.
awesome. That's awesome. If our audience didn't know already, Valentino has over 200,000 followers on TikTok with a total of 4.1 million likes across his videos. Similar to the hit ABC sitcom Abbott Elementary, what seemingly captures his audience's attention is his hilarious conversations with his students at the after school program where he teaches. What made you decide to pick up your phone and record these funny interactions in class?
Well, really, like just every day with the kids are just is so funny. Like I tell people, if I had a camera rolling at all times, who knows how many followers I would have. I just miss certain moments because I'm in the moment with the kids. But I just realized like there's so many funny moments that they bring every single day. And I just that let me just record it, and like obviously like not show their faces or anything, but just record it in my interactions with them. And you see what happened after I started posting that. So that's it's just a thought in my mind, and it ended up working out for the good, to be honest with you.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome. I remember like scrolling on my TikTok a couple weeks ago and like you popped up in my feed and I was like, this is so funny. Like this reminds me of Abbott Elementary. When did you have a lot of videos. When did you start doing that? When did
I
you
started,
start teaching and when did you start recording?
so I started my job in June. This
Okay.
summer, I started my job in June, and then I didn't start recording until probably like a little less than a month ago.
Oh wow, okay.
So
Really
I've
recent.
really recent, to be honest with you, and I just started doing it, and then I just record different clips, and then I still have some of my drafts now that I still like kind of spread out my posts throughout the week and stuff like that. So that's when I started posting them.
That's awesome. What have you learned since I know you're not like a teacher, but like have you learned any valuable lessons being with monitoring little kids in the
Oh,
after school program?
too many lessons every day. I just really realized that life is very simple. Like they say things without, they don't know anything that's going on in the world. So they just say things so honest. And it's like, it really is that simple. And I just realize how, like, as we get older, we just complicate things and we cloud our minds with all these things. And kids are just so honest, but there's beauty and honesty in the things that they say. Like sometimes, like if I come in, like if I twist my hair and I have twists in, they'll just be like, what is that, coach? Or like they'll say something like, yeah, like they don't have a filter because they're so young and they don't know how to do a lot of things. But at the same time, they also teach me a lot of things when it comes to, I guess, when I get older and I eventually become a parent. Like you have to treat every kid different. Some kids you could be more, hey, stop doing that, like more stern, and they'll respond better. But I know some are more gentle. You have to say, hey, come on, let's go on a walk. Or like sometimes you got to realize you can't just get the kids in trouble for no reason. Like some kids, if they're acting out, it may not even be the situation. It could be something from home. And sometimes a kid will be acting out. And in a moment when I could get him in trouble, I'll just say, hey, come on, let's go on a walk. And I'll say, what's wrong? And it'll be something totally different. And then you talk to them about it, they go to class and they're good. So just learning how to
Right.
communicate with people, because people see kids and they're just kids, but they're people too. You have to communicate with them and be kind to them, and they'll reciprocate that back. That's why I have a good relationship with the kids that I work with.
I like no, that's so true. That's so true. Some kids you have to be more stern with, and sometimes like, okay, little Johnny, or like let's
Yeah.
stop doing that. Let's not do that today. I totally agree. You want to be a social worker, right? What influenced that? Was it doing your job now, or did you always know you wanted to go into that?
Well, I mean, it's really kind of stems from, I guess, church and my parents, because my dad is a probation officer. My mom is a teacher for kids that are incarcerated. So they've already been in the system of working with kids. And also growing up in the church, because both of them run the children's ministry at my church, I've been working with kids since I was a kid myself. So I just have always enjoyed it. Like I've never thought of it as like a hard job. Like I don't go to work like Yeah, I got work. I'm excited to go to work because that's what I love doing. So that's where it kind of stemmed from in social work aspect and what I do for school.
In a TikTok video you uploaded in late November, you said that us guys need to prioritize working on our personality and not how we dress. You said guys always want to put on the flyest clothes, but y'all are broke mentally. Now, I strongly agree, but what prompted you to make this video in particular?
It's just something that's been on my mind, or I guess this is how I operate and how I feel in my daily life. And I just said, like, now that I post TikToks a lot more, why not speak about it? Because I do get a lot of questions from guys asking about advice with women. And I feel like I just maybe my mom taught me this from a young age. She really did teach me that at a young age. Like, you can have all the fly stuff on, but if you don't have nothing to offer mentally, and a lot of guys don't realize that women are attracted to a man how they connect with them mentally. Physically, of course, that's part of it. Not gonna
Right,
That's not a part of it, but mentally is what really attracts women to you. So if you're not attracted mentally, you can have all the money in the world and they're gonna be like, I don't like this person for real. You know what I mean? So that's what prompted me to say that, because I feel like just growing up in today's age with social media and like all these rappers and they're doing their thing. I love that for them. And like, but they all want to fly clothes, and someone who doesn't have someone pouring into them mentally so that they can be strong mentally will see that and say, okay, having the flyest clothes, nicest car is going to give you everything I want in terms of women, are just success, what they determine success is. And that's not what it is. And wanted to tell guys that that's not what it always is. It's what you can offer mentally is what matters.
right, right. No, I totally agree because yeah, I think a lot of times we see what's on TV or like our favorite rappers, like you said, like oh the Jordan, Montclair Code, like gotta have
Yeah,
a fresh lineup. But it's like you need to. I think you said in the video like good hygiene, like that's important. Do you read? Do you listen to podcasts? Like do you have interest outside of fashion? And if fashion's your thing, okay, good. But like, what can you have a conversation, with a young lady or whoever you're talking to? I think that's really important because sometimes our generation, or I think everyone goes through this, but definitely our generation, we focus on the wrong things, and that's not how you that's not how you can always gain a good mate, attract a
exactly.
good mate. Because some people are interested in the material things, and you may get a girl by just having the flyest clothes on, but it's like a real partner, a good partner, you should be working on yourself, and they should be too. So I
And
agree with that.
I agree with what you said about like having good conversation. And that's one part too. It's also, can you be yourself? Can you really be yourself around a woman as a man? Can you stand on your principles and even have principles that they can respect, and they can say, hey, he's a man. He has his principles. He's working hard. He has his morals, and he's sticking with them. And he's not worried about doing this to go buy to some Jordans. That's the only thing on his mind. Like, no, you have bigger things on your plate because you have a vision for yourself. So
Right, right. Can you be independent?
exactly.
I think women like that too. Like, can you do you have a job? Do you have ambition? You're also an influencer slash brand ambassador for the skincare brand Spa Sciences. Did gaining a large following on TikTok inspire you to want to become an influencer?
Yes and no. Yes, because once I started getting a following, it obviously inspired me a lot more. But I feel like I was already inspired from before I even stopped playing basketball, because I saw the vision for myself from the beginning. Like, when I look at myself, I don't look at where I'm at now. I look at where I'm going to be. So I already see the vision that God placed in my mind. So I already knew before I even started posting, like, ask any of my friends or anyone that I'm close with, I always say, I'm going to blow. Like, I already know I'm going to blow up. I already know it's not even an option. I just know because it's something that's been placed on my heart because I see it for myself. So before I even started posting on TikTok and stuff like that, I knew I was going to be an influencer. I knew that this was like something I could really do. So once I started doing it, it didn't necessarily inspire me, but it added more confidence to what I was already feeling inside from the beginning. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Yeah.
I like that. I think a couple years ago, I wouldn't think to have a podcast or to put myself out on social media. Like that's really cool that you knew before the big following that I really want to do this. So I think that's cool. And I think sometimes our parents maybe or like older generation could like think of like the arts or think of social media as not really a career, but it really is. People are
Yeah,
making a livelihood out of this, like media communication. So I think that's awesome to have that confidence in yourself. You're
absolutely.
signed to a small modeling agency in Tampa. What type of modeling are you currently trying to do? Fashion, editorial, commercial, or maybe even print?
Really all those options you just said. I mean, recently I just did I went to Disney and modeled for Disney for an ad. It
Nice.
was a great
Nice.
experience. Love that. I really got to see what it was like having a production crew and having to change outfits. I made a TikTok about it, a little vlog, stuff like that.
Yeah,
So that's one thing, but really commercial, print, like anything like that, I'm into, just trying to get my name out there.
that's awesome. Can we expect a YouTube channel coming soon?
Absolutely. That's the one thing I wanted to talk about. I'm definitely going to be starting one because I told myself I wanted to build my following on TikTok more and then start doing the YouTube, because YouTube is more like long form content. So you have to be not necessarily like, you can have long winded content, but it has to be short with good spurts of content.
Right,
You know what I mean? And with
right.
TikTok, content is starting to get like shorter and shorter, and people are more attracted to shorter content. So I'm just trying to find a balance between that, but definitely a YouTube coming soon.
Yeah, like it's kind of it's tricky to get people's attention in 1 minute or not even 1 minute. I think it's like our attention span is 15 seconds. So that's kind of tricky, but I could totally see that. Weekly vlogs, get ready with me, come and meet up and go play basketball. I could see you doing stuff like that. Oftentimes we see models transition into acting. Has becoming an actor ever crossed your mind?
Absolutely, it's always on my mind. I took acting in high school for 3 years straight, and it was my favorite
Wow.
class. I love it. I could definitely see myself on the big screen. Definitely. I always tell them, I always joke, I have a joke with my friends. I go, when the next Karate Kid comes out, I'm gonna try out for it. So I know I can do it.
That'd be awesome. That'd
Yeah,
be give Jaden Smith a run for his money. That'd be awesome.
exactly.
Who are some of your favorite actors and what type of roles are you interested in? Like, would it be drama, comedic?
I say obviously like Denzel Washington, everybody knows that, of course.
Yeah, that's a
I
goat.
would say any type of role. I mean, I've always been interested on like how people, like there's some people that are like so famous that their role is really just being themselves. So like
Yeah,
that's something I would like to do, but also I would like to be like in a comedic role, drama role, really any type of role, because I feel like acting is just embracing a character and not necessarily who you are, but it's embracing a character. And I learned that in class at my high school. So yeah, really any role, to be honest.
that'd be awesome. And would you do you see yourself staying in Florida, or are you open to like going to New York, going to California?
I mean, my heart is always going to be in Tampa. Y'all, I was born and raised here. I love it here. I'm here every day. Grew up here, but of course, if there's better opportunities that's going to help better my life, my family's life, my career, of course I'll move if something I need to do to better myself. So I'm definitely open to it, but I'm always going to be just a boy from Tampa at heart. You know what I mean?
Moving on to health and fitness. So your parents are breast cancer survivors and have been in remission for over a decade now. You've played multiple sports almost all your life and just recently started a fitness page on your Instagram. How important is fitness and nutrition to you? And did growing up playing sports and your parents' situation make you realize how important your health is?
Yeah. So, well, for your first question, fitness and nutrition is absolutely important to me. I mean, I've been playing sports from since I had memory. Literally, I just remember being outside with my dad taking us outside, my mom taking us outside, and then we got into sports. And then nutrition wise, my mom always cooked at home, like stuff like rice and chicken. People always ask me like, how did I get so strong? I'd be like, I've probably just been eating the same stuff my whole life, like rice, chicken, beans. Like it doesn't
Keep it
really get
simple.
pretty simple. It's oatmeal in the morning. Like it's the same routine that I've always had. But as in regards to sports, I mean, sports also had a massive influence on my life. It almost became a habit. So like when I stopped playing, that's why I always work out, because it's just like it's a habit that makes you feel good and you kind of get used to it. And my dad kind of implemented that into me from when I was a young age, but it almost kind of hit me when I got a little older, because a lot of people don't know this. When my dad had was going through his cancer battle and he was doing chemo the whole time, I never knew. I never knew. And
Wow.
he would take me to the batting cages to play for baseball, basketball, and we would be training. And the whole time, you're young and your dad, you're bucking heads and y'all disagreeing on stuff, because that's what a dad and son do. And looking back, I'm like, he was still pushing me, even though I never knew he had just gotten chemo for 2 hours straight. And I remember like asking him like, why did you shave? I would be like, when I was like, did you shave? Like your eyebrows? Like, yeah, I had to shave for work. And I used to just not even know because I was so young.
Wow.
Now that I'm older, he was instilling that in me, and he was going through his own battles. Thank God he's in remission, and so is my mother. But yeah, that is another thing that hit me hard on the fitness and nutrition. And
Right. Seeing both your parents go through that, that's not easy. I'm glad they're in a better position now. I think it's important to prioritize health and nutrition. I definitely speaking to myself right now. It's like, okay, let me chill with the Shake Shack and the, fast food. I think it's tempting though, because you're so used to eating a certain way. Like you probably have such good nutrition and fitness lifestyle because you're eating the same things almost pretty much all your life. And you were a student athlete and all that stuff. For me, and I think other people can relate, you're so used to eating a certain way, it's kind of hard to like pivot. And then dieting is like, it's like you diet for like a couple days, and then on that fifth day, it's like, now I want to go back to the cookies. So what
exactly.
what would you say to people who like they try to diet, but it doesn't last?
Here's the thing. I'm so glad you said that, because I was just talking to my friend about this. I was saying how so many people, the average person, like I feel like me, I can go cold turkey, cut out all the bad food and just keep it going. But that's because that's something I'm able to do. But I know that a lot of the population, or a lot of people, your average person probably can't do that. And people have this thing where they just want to go cold turkey off the rip and just not eat nothing. And that's not always the best thing to do. It's okay. Even me, I still go to Chick-fil-A. I'll still go to McDonald's. Like, I'll still do that, but it's in moderation. We can go healthy, eat something you like on a Wednesday, whatever. And then Thursday, Friday, eat healthy. As long as you're overall eating healthy, you can have those things throughout the week in moderation. You don't got to eat 10 cheeseburgers. You can just eat one. You know,
Right. Right.
and obviously including that with exercise is very important. And the same thing goes for actually exercising. People will go like, I'm gonna start my gym journey, and they go in the gym for 6 hours and go super hard, and they're dead and they can't even move tomorrow morning. If you're starting your workout, you don't want to go super hard. You want to have a starting block where you can go and say, okay, I'm tired, but I'm still good to go tomorrow. And you build off that. A lot of people want to start off working out, and they think the harder they work out, which is true, the harder you work out, the more results. But you also got to work out smart. You don't want to burn yourself out, especially if you're not used to working out. Like, I'm used to working out,
Right.
so I already know I can go hard, and I know my limits. I've been lifting for
Right.
almost 2 years now. But if you're just getting in the gym, you want to start small, even if it doesn't. And I tell people all the time, don't be ashamed to go in that gym and not use any weight at all, or use tiny weights. Because when I started with 40 pounds, 50 pounds when I was doing that. And then I went, by the end, when I was done, I was doing 90 pounds, 100 pounds, 100 plus pounds,
Wow.
just in each dumbbells in each hand. So it's just consistency. It's not
Work
where
your
you
way
are
up.
now. Progress is determined from where you came from. You know what I mean? So that's something that I would always say. If you're anyone listening to this, progress is determined from where you came from, not where you're at right now. You know what I mean?
I like that. I like that. That's a good one. Dropping gems, dropping gems. And
Yeah.
are you so you started a fitness page. Are you taking clients right now? Are you trying to be a fitness trainer?
Well, people have actually, to be honest, when I first started, I was just thinking, let me go just spread the love, tell people what I know. And then people are hitting me up like, hey, do you have virtual programs? And now I'm like starting to like take videos of like me working out so I can set up a little virtual program. And then obviously people that are like close to me that I know, or like people that are in my area, I could personally train them. So I definitely am getting those DMs and lining stuff up for that as well. So that's really a blessing, to be honest. I never expected, well, actually, I can't say that. I definitely did expect that at some point.
Right, right. DM for inquiries for sure. No, yeah, I think I did. My friend Adriana, she has like a fitness brand, and we did a workout IG live in the summer, and I wanted to like keep doing. I gotta make that a series, but I definitely want to do another workout live, because I think to show me discipline and Toronto, let's go, but also show my viewers like, hey, like working out can be fun. And I did it in the park. Like it doesn't have to be at a gym. It could be in your room. It could be in the park, wherever. So working out is fun, and we have to like retrain for the people who like think it's like, oh my God, like it feels like punishment. It's fun. Like if you can incorporate it in your daily lifestyle and not make it a punishment, make it something that's like good for your body. Same thing with eating healthy. Like this is good for me. Like eating healthy is not a bad thing. So retraining our mind, I think that could help.
I absolutely agree. And I think that, like you said, like working out is fun. But and when I and people say, "Do you have fun working out?" I go, "I have fun working out, but I don't want you to think that while I'm working out, I'm just giggling and laughing, like smiling. Like, no, I'm taking it serious, but it's fun for me because I know I'm getting better." I feel like a lot of people want to go into the gym and it not hurt. It's supposed to hurt. You're supposed to feel that's the only way you get better. No pain, no gain. And it's like you have to, like with me, one of the biggest things that I realized when I first started lifting is there would always get to that point where you're at that breaking point, and once you get past that block, it's unbeatable. Anyway, even if I fail, I know that I push myself to where I literally my body couldn't go no more. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm telling everybody
Right,
to do that, but it's just the fact that you have to be able to push past the pain. And that's the fun part. That's when it becomes fun.
right. Like knowing that, yeah, knowing that I can like, my trainer told me 10, and then like I'm struggling to do the 10th one, and then he's like, do one more, and I do the 11th. Like I made it. I did it. I
Right.
pushed through it. I didn't feel good, but like I pushed through it. My trainer, Refi, my friend's little brother, he would always say that like he would give me like a set reps to do, and then I would struggle with the last one. He'd always tell me like do one more. Like when you feel like you can't do the last one, do one more. And when you first said that, I was like, what? Like that doesn't make sense. I can barely do the 10. How am I supposed to do 11? But it makes sense because then it's like, oh, like if I could do 11, I could do 12 next week,
Oh,
and then I could do 13 the week after. So I totally get what you're saying with that. That's so true. Do you look at fitness as therapy, or do you actually go to therapy?
for me, I feel like fitness is like my therapy. I mean, it's just like kind of like time to myself because only I'm lifting the weights. I have the music on. I'm just chilling, doing what I got to do, bettering
Right.
myself. So that is kind of my therapy. And on the therapy aspect, I think that recently I've been looking at YouTube videos. I watch a lot of podcasts. I've been seeing like how rappers are starting to open up about mental health. Like that's so fire to me. Like I've always thought that was amazing because like ain't there's nothing wrong with going to therapy. I feel like especially like you understand, especially like in the Black community, like even when I was growing up, like, oh, therapy this, like therapy that, like, and I understood that mindset too, because that's all I would see. But now as I got older, it's okay to go talk to somebody if you're feeling down. Like, and like for me, those people are my parents, and those people are God Himself, like praying and stuff like that. And it could be whoever it is, it could be an actual therapist, but therapy is very important. You need someone to talk to, someone to get advice from.
Yeah. No, yeah, totally. I think black men specifically, because I think like you said, we're raised to like, don't be a wuss, man up and like ball your feelings. But then it's like you ball your feelings up so much, and then when I'm actually mad, I don't know how to verbalize it because I've been taught to internalize it. So it's
And
like
it's
yeah,
I'm so glad you said that because like when you ball it up and internalize it, it's something like my pastor said and I picked up from when I was a little kid. I feel like I just understood things from when I was a young age to help me to be where I'm at now. Like people ball that stuff up and people wonder like this one of the biggest causes of disease is stress because if you look at the word disease, it's dis-ease, like you're not at ease, like when you ball that
wow,
stuff in, you're gonna just be holding it, and people wonder why when you're stressed out you get sick and stuff like that. And like, and I'm not saying things don't happen if you even have a great mental health, all that, but I'm just saying literally the word dis-ease, you're not at ease, and that stuff comes from balling those things in. Like I tell people all the time, like I literally posted to say like when my dog passed away, rest in peace Benji, that was rough. But I mean, I posted a TikTok of me like with him on his last day. I was crying. I was like, it's okay to cry. You gotta let that stuff out. I'm not about to be just holding that in.
right. And it's
As
crazy
out.
because oh, sorry to cut you off.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
But I was gonna say when you posted that, my first reaction was, wow, he's so brave. But it's like, why is that brave? Why is that my first reaction? It should be like, oh, his dog died. He's sad about that. That was probably his best friend. Not, oh my God, he's so like brave to post it on the internet. Like, oh my God,
Yeah.
what are people gonna think? So that was interesting to me. Like, oh, like but then my second thought was, oh, he's really in touch with his masculinity and he's confident in himself because most men wouldn't be able to post themselves crying, even if it was their dog, their girl, their child. Like most men wouldn't be able. I've never seen. Come to think of it, I've never seen a man cry in person. Only in movies. So I think that's very powerful that you posted that and felt comfortable post because you should feel comfortable expressing your emotions, whether something tragic happens or something little happens. You should feel comfortable. Men should feel comfortable with that.
Exactly. And that's why even in that TikTok, I literally put in the caption, I said, and yeah, I'm crying because that's what real men do. Cause I just can't stand when like guys be like, oh, you're crying. It's like you think that I'm soft for crying when you're really soft because you can't even let out your emotion. Like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I've never understood that. And but to be honest, I gotta give credit to my dad for that because you know when you're a kid, like you don't want to cry and stuff. My dad used to cry. I used to be like, well, but my dad always told me like real men cry or like real men wear pink. Like I'm not like there's nothing wrong with
mm,
that.
yeah,
Like especially now, like you go on social media and you just see like all this like toxic masculinity stuff. And I feel like the people who are saying that they're not realizing that there's young men out there that don't have an influence and are watching it and taking it so literal,
yes,
and
yes,
like you shouldn't be like even believing in that stuff. You should just be who you are and be okay with being open and being yourself. And that's kind of what I promote because I don't even like I don't try to make myself bigger than what I am at all. I'm very open and being honest because there's beauty in messing up, there's beauty in failure, there's beauty in being honest about your situation because we all go through it, especially with social
right.
media because people are only posting the highlights of their life. Everybody has problems. You can't tell me you don't got problems. You know what I mean?
Right. And people would think like, oh, he plays basketball, he's good looking, he carries himself well, like all this stuff. But it's like we don't know what happens behind closed doors. Like with good looking people, with good looking couples, celebrities, rich people, like we don't know. We always say that we always hear that, but I don't think people really like listen to that. Like no one knows what happens behind closed doors. We don't know
Oh,
what people are going through. So I like that. I think that's important. And I think that's something that we got to teach our sons. You know, I think we teach our daughters certain things about mental health and being expressive, but we got to teach our sons that so that because
absolutely.
it's sad that so many men commit suicide. Like
Yeah.
the number one victim to suicide, it's men. And I think it's surprising, but it's also not surprising.
Exactly. And it is important for us to teach our sons this stuff because like I said, we're talking about earlier, like toxic masculinity. Like when I get older and I hopefully have a son, because I want to, carry my name on. That's just a thing for me. Just a
Right,
fun.
right. The
No,
third.
my son, like I just feel like now, like, especially when it comes to like interacting with women, it's like it's cool to be like kind of like standoffish and like not show energy. Like you have to be like, it's okay to tell a woman she's beautiful. I mean, like, what I mean? It's okay to be like you're gorgeous. It's okay to show effort. It's okay to wear your heart on your sleeve and be vulnerable with a woman, especially if it's somebody that deserves that. Of course, you don't want to just any or everybody, but it's so that's fine. It's fine to
Yeah.
care. Like I never understood that. Like, or like guys just be, I don't know, like even like down to just like going out. Like guys will be at the club and will pay to go to the club. I would take talk about this. I gotta post it. Like they'll be going to the club and they'll spend all this money to get in the club and then just be on the wall like this,
Yes. Yes.
just chill.
I
And
never
I go in
understood
there,
that. Just
yeah, and I'm
I've
saying that
never
I'm
understood.
dancing. I'm not gonna pay money and not dance. I'm gonna have fun. Like it's just this little things that set guys back so far when it's. Oh, and if you ask a woman who is really capable of being a mate for you, they're always gonna go for that every time. They're gonna want a guy who exhibits habits that are not toxic masculinity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like being passive aggressive and again speaking talking to myself, like being passive aggressive is not attractive. It's not a good thing. It's toxic. Like you should be able to I think for me, I I kind of resort to being passive aggressive because I feel like if I speak when I'm upset, I'm gonna say the wrong thing. So I'd rather be silent and not have to apologize. But then it's like, wait, I can't expect I can't expect my partner or my mom or my friend to understand why I'm mad if I'm not speaking about it. Like I'm expecting them to do all the work. So it's like it's tough because like I wanna be quiet and not say anything I'll regret. But I you gotta communicate, you know. So I think yeah.
Communication is extremely important because, and that's something that I've always like when people ask me like, what, like even on my lives, like, what's your type? And it's like, what do you mean, like physically or mentally? And then they say like mentally. I tell them it's little things that like the someone who hasn't experienced things would not understand. Like things like if you're upset about something, I've always said, please tell me. You don't gotta, and that's the thing. When you tell somebody something, especially if you're in a relationship or you're dealing with an individual that you enjoy spending your time with, it's okay to say, hey, I didn't like that. You don't got to yell. You don't got to scream. You can deliver a message without, by something my dad taught me, you can always deliver a strong message without yelling. Because yelling really exudes like weakness, to be honest. Because if me and you are in an argument, right? And I'm sitting there and you're yelling, you're it's getting loud, but I'm speaking calm, but I'm speaking facts. It just shows that you're losing because why are you mad? You know, if you know you're right,
Right,
why do you feel the need to raise your voice? But that goes into like relationships too. If you're upset about something, you can articulate why, you can talk about it and move on. You know what I mean? So it's
right. No, yeah,
important.
that's important because and then it's like yelling, yeah, like you said, it doesn't look good. You're being disrespectful. It's being childish, not communicating. It's giving tantrum.
Yeah,
So I think
yeah,
so I think yeah, I definitely got to work on that. And I think I'm sure I'm not alone in that. Like you gotta learn how to communicate. Whether
everybody.
and whether it's taking a sip of water. For me, I like to like walk away and like try to I like to walk away, and then I was talking with my friend. She's like, "No, I don't want the guy to walk away. I want to talk about it right now." And it's
Yeah,
like, "But I need space." And she's like, "I don't want space." So I guess I got to figure out like what works for me and my partner. Do you would you say like are you that person who like walks away, or are you the type of person that's like, "No, we're gonna set a table. We're gonna deal with this right here, right now."
I'm gonna be real with you. The way my family operates, we let things out on the table off the rip. We're gonna let you know exactly how we're feeling. We're gonna
Okay.
moment because you know, and that's what I'm saying. When it comes to like a partner, there's nothing wrong with walking away. But that's where in the relationship space where you have to be, are you compatible with this person? Because if you have somebody that wants to talk about it right now and someone that wants to walk away and collect their thoughts, then you're sitting there chasing someone who doesn't want to be chased, and then y'all, that's a whole nother argument. You're like, what's going on? But
Right.
yes, me, I want to get it out the way. I want to say it, and that's the thing, because like friends or something be like, oh, like your family's like loud, or like they may think that we're like arguing, but we're really talking. We may be talking loud and passionately, but it's out of love. It's not no hate. Me and my mom or me and my dad have gotten in heated discussions, not in a disrespectful way. Obviously, of course, I would never do that.
Right.
Like we've gotten into heated discussions at the end of the day, like it's all love. Like we're not actually mad at each other. Like
Right, right. Because
mad.
there's that too. Sometimes, like, I remember growing up, it's like I'll get yelled at, and I'm like, "Oh, all right, it's all right, it's a wrap." And then
Yeah,
my mom's like, "Oh, like that was just." My mom's a very like a that happened 6 hours ago. Saranta's like, "Why are you still upset?" And I'm
yeah.
like, "Cause you yelled." So, but it's like just because you have an argument doesn't mean that it's like a
There's beef.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Just because you have one argument or one disagreement doesn't mean that there's beef. Yeah, I
exactly.
gotta teach that to myself. So now we're just gonna move on to the TCP rapid fire questions. You don't have to answer it quickly. I just call it that. But the first question: what makes you laugh the most?
What makes me laugh the most? I would say really like goofy stuff. I mean, or like something about me personally. It's the way people say stuff that makes me laugh. Like you could say the most random, serious thing, but if you say it funny and it sounds funny to me, I'll laugh.
I like that. I like that. Three things you're grateful for.
I'm grateful for God, my family, and my job.
Okay. What would you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self that you are going to be who you believe you're going to be. If you just keep staying on the same path, keep going.
Awesome, awesome. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see myself on the big screen. I see myself in the big magazines. I see myself being one of the biggest influencers in the world. You know, I got to speak
Yes,
out because you call me crazy, but it's only crazy till it happens. You know what I mean? That's what I see for myself.
that's true. That's true. That 200K could turn into 500K, 1 million. So
Exactly.
I see it. I see it. What would you name this current chapter of your life?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let me think. Current chapter, I would name it building greatness. Literally building.
Awesome. Awesome. I like that. This was such a dope convo, bro. I appreciate you
I know
coming on
I
the
keep going on and
podcast.
on. This is great.
Where can everyone follow you?
Well, on Instagram at Valentino Hart Jr. Hart. That's how you spell Hart. And then on TikTok at Valentino Hart. And then you'll see on my main Instagram page Valentino Fitness for my fitness page. So you guys can follow me on those three right there.
Awesome, awesome. Go follow Valentino on all his socials. And I want to hear from you guys. So if you're listening to this episode right now on a podcast platform, Be sure to leave a rating on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're watching this episode on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you click the notification bell up top so you're notified whenever I upload a new episode. Thank you guys for listening. Have a good one.
Thank you.